Alrighty, welcome back to the Jays Center podcast. Owen Hill back with Jesse Burl here today. And Jesse, a pop quiz for you today. How many games of spring training do the Blue Jays have left before the start of the regular season?
Oh, this is cheating. I know the answer to this one. Oh, and I have been doing my homework, and the answer is 5, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is, hey, we're almost here, opening day. So close, I can almost taste it, Owen. It's so good. But there are still some things remaining still in camp. Some questions need to be asked and answered. And with 5 games left on the schedule, we might be running out of time there. So a bit of mixed feelings, but overall, I'm excited that baseball's here with only 5 games left to go in spring.
I honestly have a really hard time seeing the negatives to the end of spring training. Personally,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so excited. I think our first pod of spring training, I was like, I already hate it. I'm so bored. I want the regular season. I think like the thing I'm like most nervous for is it's a big like time for me and you that we're heading into our first full season as like J Center podcasters here. So it's about to get real for me and you, Jesse. I don't know if you've thought about that, but it's been on my mind that the test run's over and we're getting really, really into this, and we're important people for J Center now.
Hey, it's spring training for the players. It's spring training for us too, Owen. And when you really think about the history of our podcast, like our first episodes with you and Mac were in the playoff run. My first episode was Game 6 of the World Series. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, and the Blue Jays have not won a game since I've come on this podcast. Well, spring training aside. So, yeah, big season for us. But just like the Blue Jays are going to start out hot this year, I think we are too, Owen. It's going to be a good summer.
Yeah, we're gonna change that win stat for you pretty quickly. I
Yes.
feel like Jay's
Yes.
got a pretty soft landing spot with the A's, and I think we get the Rockies early on. The
White
start of the
Sox
regular
too.
season schedule for the Jays looks pretty favorable, and that might be a bad thing for one of our guys, one of our Toronto Blue Jays. You might be familiar with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the best hitter on the planet right now. I just want to run down his World Baseball Classic stats really quickly. 444 average in 18 at bats, 1420 OPS. He had 5 extra base hits, 8 runs batted in, didn't strike out in the tournament, walked twice. Like, what else is there to say about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jesse?
Like, and I almost want you to repeat those numbers for the people at home to really drive it in. Like, what'd you say? 1400 OPS?
Yeah,
No strikeouts?
When your OPS starts with a 1, I have a feeling like that's pretty good. And obviously the sample size is still pretty small, but like we can add that to the World Series. Like I'm not a math guy, so I didn't go that far and do all the counting and multiplying and dividing that it would take to combine those stats with his playoff stats. But I'm telling you, they'd be damn good. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is everything we hoped he would be, right? Like when he was a prospect and we were talking in 2018, 19, and he was the only thing that we had hoped for this franchise. He is what we hoped he would be and nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look back on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as there's still so much Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to go. But I remember saying at the time of him coming up, Vlad needs to turn into Albert Pujols basically for this whole thing to be successful. And you can really look at their careers side by side. It's not the exact same. It's not the exact same player. But there are some high-end comparable seasons from what Vlad has done, from what Albert Pujols has done so far in a season, and it seems really good. And Owen, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 27 years old, there is an argument to be made, and I might even make it, that he is still entering the prime of his career, and there is still better baseball to come. This World Baseball Classic and the World Series he just had has shown as high as his upsides. And look, I'm not really a betting man that much anymore, but if I was, you could almost make a bet that this season might be Vlad's best season he's had yet.
Okay, so does the like bright lights thing worry you at all when it comes to Vlad? Because we've seen him now on the biggest stages when the lights are the brightest, when the moment means the most. He rises to it, right? He is ready for it. He gets it up for the big game. This sounds like hockey talk a little bit to me. Like,
yes.
Oh, maybe it's regular season and he doesn't care as much. I'm not saying he doesn't care as much, but I think there's just a different level of focus that comes out of him and a different approach at the plate. He just looks like a completely different player in the biggest games. And I guess that's what you want out of a player, right? Like if you could choose for him to be the best regular season player of all time or the best postseason player of all time, you'd choose the best postseason player in a heartbeat, right?
Probably, but you got to make sure you get to the postseason, right?
Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make here is over a 162 game regular season. And if you take a look at the Blue Jays lineup, they need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to be the Albert Pujols version of himself. They need that 150, 160 OPS plus. Like they need him to be by far the best hitter on the team. They need 30 home runs. They probably need more than that, to be honest. Like I and right now, I bet all the money in the world that he's going to give that to us. At the same time, I would just imagine if he puts this type of run together over an entire regular season.
Yeah, and I'm really starting, maybe it's the spring training optimism in me, Owen. I don't know. But I am really starting to believe that with some of the changes he made late last season, getting his swing speed up, really swinging less, but attacking more at the pitches he can do damage with, if all of that continues, which we've seen so far this spring, which we've seen so far in the World Baseball Classic, then I really, really do feel like the best is yet to come from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We haven't talked bold predictions yet. I'm sure we will at some point, but one of them might
Next
be,
week.
I think this is the year. This is the year that Vlad comes out and puts up that MVP season that we always knew he had in there, that he hasn't just seen. And I really do think it's coming from Vlad. And the signs are all over the place that it's coming.
There's nothing like I'm not looking for anything else from him is the thing. Like other than the like full 162, I've seen it all. Like I know he does it. He's hitting balls 116 miles an hour off of Paul Skeens in places that hitters have never like gotten hits off against him. Like I'm telling you, he is like, if I'm not gonna say he's the best hitter on the planet, like because like Aaron Judge, like Shohei, like okay, like there's a million good hitters, but he's one of them. Like he's right in the conversation. I have a hard time not like saying like he is everything that a franchise player should be. I cannot believe how lucky we are that he's going to be here for 14 more years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, incredibly. Like the problem is though, like he kind of has to be this good, you know. But I'm quite fully confident he will. Yeah, 14 years. It was. We were saying that, well, probably separately on our own. But when he signed that massive contract, we were saying that, you know, this is exactly the type of player you want. If you're going to bet on a type of player whose skill set with the bat gives you this high floor, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and what he can put together. And I'm with you, my guy. Very excited to see what he can do here. I really do think the power outburst is coming, and we're going to be looking at 30, 35 home runs. And if there was ever a question before, it still won't be, but this is Vlad's team. Vlad's going to take ownership, and we're going to roll.
He looks different, man. Like he looks so good. Like he looks different even than when he looked in like 2021 when he was doing it in the minor league ballparks. And I was always one of those guys that's like, no, it's a real season. But like,
yeah,
I think now that we've kind of seen it for a more extended period of time from him, we can maybe admit that 2021, maybe the minor league ballparks played a little bit into how successful that season was. And I know like all like the big like weighted runs created plus and OPS plus, like we know they're park adjusted stats, right? Like so he was just as good as any other hitter in the league that year, but at the same time, like the power output was never really the same since then. I think we're at the point now where if he's not going to lead in home runs, like he's going to be right up there in extra base hits, right? Like he's going to have a monster season this year. He looks so good. He looks so dialed in right now.
I mean, yeah, he hit 3 home runs off Max Scherzer in that 2021 season. Like that wasn't Little League ballparks hitting home runs off prime Max Scherzer. That was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And to add to your point too, like even off the field, Vlad's got some confidence to him this year that you haven't really seen in years past. Like there have been times, you know, he's kind of quiet, he's kind of timid, you know, but now he's stepping into his age 27 season. He's got this confidence, this aura around him, if you will, as the young kids might say, that he's coming in here and he's like, no, I know I'm good. I know I can beat you and I'm going to beat you. And honestly, for your best player on your team, you want him to have that kind of mindset that I'm going to go out and I don't care who you're throwing on the mound. Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, doesn't matter who you are. I can go out and crush you. And that energy that Vlad is radiating can spread through the course of the whole team. And I think it started with the playoff run last year. It's continued with the World Baseball Classic and will continue on forward.
Well, and he should feel that way. He should have that swagger because you look at this Dominican Republic lineup that just lost 2-1 to the United States. And frankly, I think everybody on the planet that's not American was cheering for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. And I said on the last podcast that I was Dominican. Like, I swear to God, I could speak Spanish for a whole week. I could. I can't anymore, but I could. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was the heart and soul of that lineup. And that's a lineup that includes like Juan Soto, Ketel Marte, Fernando Tatis. Like, dude, that is like honestly maybe one of the best lineups ever put together on paper. and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is hitting right in the middle of it. He's hitting in that 4 spot, and he's driving it. Like in that game, he was the only one that really had success. There was all these innings where they ended with runners in scoring position and runners on base, and they couldn't quite cash. And Vlad never got an opportunity because he was the guy that was on base in all those innings, right? Like he just had an awesome WBC tournament. I'm so proud of him. And we made that Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera comp earlier. Through their first 7 seasons, Miguel Cabrera, 138, weighted runs created plus. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 137. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So they're on the same trajectory. And then Miggy's 8th season was 2010. I believe that might have been the Triple Crown year. I'm not sure if that's correct, but maybe we can verify that. But that's where we're at with Vlad right now. Like he's entering his prime. I think we're just about to get the best of Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, I very much said so. 2012 was the Miggy Cabrera Triple Crown year. So, but well on our way, which goes to show then that like Vlad is literally that caliber of hitter. If you're listening to the show, you already know how good he is, but I don't think it can be understated just how much more of a ceiling there still is, right? The only thing is, like you said, we got to kind of get him amped up for those games, right? Like those early games against the White Sox, when you're about a week or two into the season, might feel like a slog, or when he starts to get wear down just a little bit, how does he amp up from that? But I also think like, if you need motivation to get up to play this game, you're in the wrong game. There was a Blue Jay in the 2010 season who said something like that. If you need external motivation to motivate you, like this isn't the game for you or whatnot. And I don't think Vlad needs that. I think Vlad just needs a couple big hits when he's in a slump to get on that confidence booster, and he can just single-handedly carry this team. Oh, and if I put an over-under on home runs for Vlad, I'm going to say, okay, perfect. I was thinking of going like 35 or something crazy, but 30 might be realistic. But still, like there is a real chance like he could crush 50. And there's not many people in the big leagues that could crush 50 home runs. Vlad is one of them.
Yeah, no, I think he is. Well, I know he absolutely can do it. I think it's the thing about Vlad is like he has a different approach from most other power hitters, and like we see him a lot of times. He's happy taking the single the other way, and like getting that fastball on the outside part of the plate and then driving it to right field on the ground, like in between the second baseman and first baseman. Like that's something that he does a lot, and he's happy with that. We also see him in this was something I was really interested in the WBC. He was happy passing the baton a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so there'd be a runner on second base, and he's happy hitting a ground ball to the right side and getting him over to third base with less than 2 outs, and he's clapping his hands back to the dugout. And a lot of times, like, if he does that for the Blue Jays, maybe we're unhappy. You know what I mean? Because like he's our chance to drive in runs. Like you feel better with him at the plate than any other hitter in the lineup. But when he was playing with that stacked lineup with the Dominican Republic, he's happy to move that guy over and let his teammate pick up the RBI. It's a quality at bat, but it's maybe not as productive as hitting a double in the gap or hitting a homer and scoring 2 runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that is the exact type of at-bat, though, I want Vlad to continue having in the future. Because if he gets that in his head where he needs to be the one to hit a home run here to drive in the game, then your swing starts getting a little long. You start maybe chasing some pitches that you don't want to chase. And where Vlad does get into trouble is sometimes he will chase that slider down and away out of the zone. He got a lot better at that last year, but we've seen over the course of his, 6 years here, that sometimes he can do that. So if he's in the right mindset of, hey, look, all I have to do is get on base. I trust Alejandro Kirk or Dalton Varsho or Okamoto, whoever's hitting behind him, to do their job and bring in the run. The Blue Jays are going to be a better team for it. And that is just another tool in the shed that Vlad has that can make him an even better hitter, is that he's not selfish. And that is huge.
Yeah. And I think like to just like push that point across the line, if he was trying to be selfish, yeah, I bet you he could hit 50 homers, but I bet you could hit 50 homers and hit 225. Right. Yeah. Like Vlad's hitting almost 300 every season, and then he's hitting 25 to 30 homers. And like, like you're a smart enough fan to look at the advanced stats and the OPS plus and be like, yeah, he's like among the best hitters in the league. Like even without the stupid, ridiculous home run numbers, like Cal Raleigh put up last year and Aaron Judge always put up. And like those guys are obviously like on the same tier as Vlad. And as much as I'd love to see Vlad hit at least half as many home runs as those guys, I think I'm pretty happy with what he's been doing. And I think like genuinely like just one of the smartest hitters I've ever had the chance to watch.
The one thing you should look at this season, and this number stabilizes pretty early in the spring too, to know if that real true big breakout is coming, is look at Vlad's pull air rate. If you can take a look at that, and if you see that number rise up, then you're really going to see the home run numbers increase, because everything else across the board has looked good. Less strikeouts, more walks, swinging harder, exit velocity is increasing to the highest it's ever been. Like, if you can just see that launch angle tick up and hit that ball in the air a little bit more, then look out. Then catch your MVP tickets right then and there, because that would be the one thing you're going to want to see from Vlad.
Yeah, dude. Okay, 15 minutes of Vlad talk. Like, did you guys get enough? Is that okay?
Can you tell we're excited about what Vlad can have here?
Yeah, I feel like we could have done the whole hour on Vlad. I think another guy, and we need to get to him because I think we need to give him some flowers. Kevin Gausman named the opening day starter. It's going to be his first time with the Blue Jays. He's done it twice before in his career, which was kind of surprising to me. Like, he did it in 2017 with the Orioles, 2021 with the Giants. And I think just like what Kevin Gausman has done throughout his career, this could not have gone to anybody else to start 2026, right?
Yeah, I agree. The other one maybe you could have talked to is Dylan Cease, just because he's been good. He's been an opening day starter before, but you absolutely throw this to Kevin Gausman. I don't think it was ever really close. Kevin Gausman was interviewed about a week ago, and he was asked if he was, this was on Blair and Barker, I'm pretty sure. And he was asked if he was going to be the starting pitcher on opening day, and he couldn't reveal it then, but he was like, well, just do the math, guys. Like, line up when I'm throwing, line up when opening day is. Like, it's going to be 2-2. So congrats to Kevin Gausman. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that this was his first one. I would have thought he would have had one by now. But you remember, I think it was either last spring or 2 springs ago, he was a little slow coming out of camp, didn't quite wind up there, and that pushed him back a little bit. So, I don't know. Very excited for Kevin Gausman, and Blue Jays absolutely nailed this choice.
Oh, absolutely. And there was one season in there where, like, Alek Manoah was coming off, like, top 3 Cy Young season, and then he was slow ramping up. Like, it never really lined up for him, and I'm so glad that it did, because, like, he deserves it. I want to know, like, off the top of your head, is Kevin Gausman the best Blue Jays free agent signing of all time?
I want to say no. However, I don't have a right answer right off the top of my head on who would be better.
Okay, so I did a little bit of homework for us. I didn't dig in too deeply, but Russell Martin, 4 seasons, signed with the Blue Jays before the 2015 season, 11.1 F4 combined between those 4 seasons. George Springer, this is still ongoing, but he's at 14.8 F4 in his 5 seasons so far. Obviously, a 6th season. Hopefully, he's going to push that number up quite a bit. Kevin Gausman, and this is going to be ongoing as well. 4 seasons, 17.9 F4. So that's like better than George Springer in less seasons, which that one actually did kind of surprise me. George has been hurt a little bit, and obviously had that really bad season in 2024. So I guess it makes sense, but overall, the body of work from Kevin Gausman is a little bit ridiculous. Do you know what Rogers Clemens put up in 2 seasons with the Jays after signing?
I had looked this up about a month ago when we were doing our like top 50 Blue Jays of all time, and it was ridiculous. I know he won a couple Cy Young awards here. I know he was just filthy, like absolute dominant. I don't have the exact number though.
Yeah, so I went to B-War for him because the older players get a little bit funky with the F-War, but it was over 20, like in 2 seasons. It was like an 11-win season and a 9-win season, something stupid like that.
I wish I was old enough to really watch Roger Clemens in his prime. Like, when I got to the age when I was watching baseball, Roger Clemens was well past. He was in Houston. He was in his 40s, so I couldn't really appreciate the greatness. But yeah, I can't imagine watching what an 11-war season from your pitcher would be like. So fantastic stuff. It's just got to get him out there.
Yeah, so maybe Kevin Gausman not going to wind up. Oh, I guess he's good like this season. He puts up 3 wins. He passes them. So he's got a real chance to like actually, off the top of my head, there's not going to be another Blue Jays player that has like a Blue Jays free agent signing that has more than 20 wins, right? Like over his Blue Jays career. Like, am I missing someone?
No, Hyun-Jin Ryu came to mind for me, mostly because that kind of just signaled the next era of Blue Jays baseball. I think he was 3rd in Cy Young in that COVID 2020 year. He was really good that year, but then obviously a little bit worse. And then the injury shut him down from really cranking it up. But I like that signing more, not because of what he did on the field, but because it showed the Blue Jays are shifting now into this next competitive era. And Hyun-Jin Ryu signing here was the first one. But ultimately, yeah, those other names you mentioned were really good. Old Jays fans might go back to Paul Molitor who really helped the 93 World Series team as one of the best franchise signings of all time. But yeah, like the mid 2010s, AJ Burnett, BJ Ryan, and that's not it. So you might be right. This might be one of the best of all time.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman, man. Everything you wanted him to be and more. Even if, and knock on wood, even if this season isn't everything he hopes it is, and he's getting up there in age, and I don't know, but like I have no reason to believe that he's not going to put up another great season. Honestly, just an awesome Blue Jay. Like nothing more to say about him. He's the best. He's the man.
Yeah, and remember when we signed Kevin Gausman, Robbie Ray was coming off a Cy Young Award season, and we really had the choice of, was it going to be Kevin Gausman or is it going to be Robbie Ray? And the Blue Jays chose Kevin Gausman, which at the time, some people were like, you literally just had the guy throw you a Cy Young Award winner. And look how those two careers have kind of worked out now. Robbie Ray's had a lot of up and downs. Kevin Gausman has been consistently good for the whole period. Sounds like the Blue Jays are good. If there's one thing too, Owen, this front office really good at, it's spending on free agent pitching. They've really nailed it over the past few seasons.
Yeah, man. I think if you injected the truth serum into like the Blue Jays fan base as a whole, I think more people than you expect would have said they really hated the Kevin Gausman signing because they let Robbie Ray go. I think a lot of people were pretty upset with that move at the time, and Kevin Gausman pretty much immediately has like put that narrative to bed, and I love it. It was awesome.
Yeah, because a lot of Jays fans would have remembered Kevin Gausman when he was just a mediocre pitcher with the Orioles way back when, right? So they're like, oh, we're giving that guy all this money. But yeah, he was different in those years with the Giants. And as you've seen, very effective with the Blue Jays here.
Yeah, he's been unreal. Another Blue Jay who, well, I guess another starting pitcher, maybe not as unreal as Kevin Gausman, José Berríos. He has a date with Dr. Keith Meister. And if you're not familiar with that name, he's the good news giver to pitchers, right? No,
yeah,
he's the bad news giver.
Yeah, usually whenever you have a visit with Keith Meister, it's not a good thing. He's not handing you out cupcakes saying, good job on your season, Mr. Berríos. Here you go. No. And look, the fact he's even going for a date with him at all is bad news because the Blue Jays would have sent him the MRI, right? And if he looks at the MRI and goes, yeah, this is a very functioning elbow, everything looks great, then he's not scheduling him in for a meeting, right? That's not happening. So he saw the same thing that they saw at the WBC insurance thing and had to bring him into a meeting. And so that is never a good news at all. So whatever your expectations are and whatever we think is going to happen here, its baseline is going to be quite low for reasonable causes of expectations. Even if, Owen, I think the elbow is good and he's clear and it's like a pain tolerance thing, I still think he's going to be shut down at least for the few weeks of the season. And it might just be a lost season for Berríos if it's worst case scenario.
Yeah, he stopped throwing, right? Like that report came out. So anytime a starting pitcher stops throwing in the middle of spring training, it pretty much guarantees he's not going to be ready for the regular season. Yeah. So if you just look at it like that, that's another blow to this Blue Jays rotation who's already short Shane Bieber, who's already, and you and I have talked a lot about Trey Savage and what's going on with him. Like they've lost some depth in Bloss, some depth in Tiedemann. Like it's thinning out a lot quickly. And think about how much air we've wasted just talking about they have too many starting pitchers. They clearly do not have too many starting pitchers. And God, are we thankful for Max Scherzer and how hard he's throwing right now. And Eric Lauer, for as much as he's complained, it looks like he might have a chance to actually be a starter for this team pretty much right away. I'm kind of optimistic on Berríos because the only reason they found out about it and sent him for this MRI because he was trying to get his insurance to pitch for his country for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic, and he couldn't get his insurance because his MRI was ugly, but he felt fine going into it. It's the only reason the Blue Jays have any idea is because of this MRI, and if he feels good, I think that's a good sign, right?
I'd like to think so. It's either one of two things. Either José Berríos is lying to us all and doesn't actually feel fine, but just wants to say that he is, or he truly thinks his elbow's okay, which makes me think then, like, what'd your elbow look like before when you weren't okay? You know, we'll see. As by the time you are listening to this, you probably will have news about what has happened with José Berríos. So we don't know whether it's very good news or whether his season is over or whatever it is it may be. But still, look, if we were relying on José Berríos to be good and effective this year, it was always going to be a little bit of a stretch. His numbers weren't down quite a bit in spring. He wasn't that good last year. He wasn't even on part of the playoff rosters when he could. So I think we were kind of just banking on the back of the baseball card, thinking, well, there's a chance José Berríos could turn into something here. But still, maybe this is one of those blessings in disguise then if he is out for an extended period of time.
That's crazy. So you think this team is better off without José Berríos? Is that like the take you're going to drop?
So it's hard to say that because of his consistency and durability on here, right? But if this spot gives you more time for, say, extended pitching for Eric Lauer, who was really good in his period last year, or if Max Scherzer has just one more high good impact season left in him, or say it opens the door for a Gage Stanifer jump later in the season, or or Ricky Tiedemann can stick it in the rotation and join up there, or Connor Siebold, who's been throwing 2 miles per hour, can get in there and get some start. If it causes indirectly one of those things to happen, then yes, it could be a blessing in disguise, but directly, no. Losing one of your better starting pitchers is hard to swallow at first.
Yeah, and it's hard to swallow, as frustrating, and I drive this train, okay? José Berríos, I hate watching him pitch a lot of times, especially towards the end of last year when his stuff was pretty much gone. All of his pitches had the exact same shape, and it was a bad shape. He wasn't throwing as hard, and he was getting lit up. Yeah, it really sucked watching him. But he was worth 1.3 F4 last year, okay? So as much as as much as that's not like a crazy season, that's something. Like, that is a valuable player to your team, and you're going to need to find a way to make that up between like the names you mentioned, Gage Stanifer, Ricky Tiedemann, Connor Siebold, Eric Lauer needs to be better than he was last year. Like, it's going to come from somewhere. Obviously, you're hoping to get a full season of Trey Savage. I don't know if we can pencil that in stone right now, but the point being is, like, as much as José Berríos may be not the guy we thought he was when he signed this big extension, and not the guy we want to pitch, and maybe like we're done with it and frustrated with it, we've seen enough, he still did bring a lot of value to the team last year, especially in the regular season.
Yep. And if you extend that back to what he's done since he came over at the trade deadline in 2021, he's had some very good moments for this Toronto Blue Jays team. So that can't be denied either. And look, if his season is lost by injuries this season, you can almost guarantee that he's accepting into that the last 2 years of his contract he has here. So we'll still have José Berríos around for a few more seasons. And if he comes back and he's good and he's dominant, which I'd be surprised, then maybe he comes back again anyway, or he tests free agency, and who knows. But I really do think we're going to have him extended here. Owen, if he does have to miss a chunk of time, who do you think comes back first, José Berríos or Shane Bieber?
Well, he's talking to Keith Meister, so I think if he misses a chunk of time, it's really bad. I think Shane Bieber, we kind of know where he's at. He is throwing, he's progressing. I think they're taking it slow with him deliberately because they know they've got starting pitching depth in the form of Cody Ponce, Trey Savage, Eric Lauer, et cetera, all the guys we've named and gone over a million times this spring. I think they're letting Shane Bieber take his time on purpose. I think they're really encouraged with the way Max Scherzer looks, and how could they not be? I think if José Berríos ends up missing, well, I think they're obviously both going to miss parts of spring training. I bet you we see Bieber first.
I think so as well. I think we will. Shane Bieber's throwing off flat ground already. He hasn't got a mound, but usually once you get on a mound, you're about 4 weeks away, 4 or 5 weeks away. So I think
for starting pitchers,
pretty much the next step for
hopefully hopefully we see him by May 1st. Like, that's an optimistic thing. Hopefully we see him, like, if we don't see him by June, then we start to press the panic button.
Right. So he's coming back before Anthony Santander, right?
Oh, he freaking better.
Okay, good. The only way he doesn't is if Keith Meister's like, yeah, buddy, you need surgery, and then you're cooked, right? So, but I guess we'll find that out probably by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah, worst case scenario is like, oh, they're gonna take the rest and rehab route, and then he starts ramping up again, and then there's another setback, and they're like, okay, now you need surgery, and it's also July 15th. Like, that is the nightmare scenario.
Yeah, and so if that is on the board, I say just get it done. Rip the Band-Aid off, just get it done now, right? Because it never works out well.
It's easy for us to say the podcast just be like, yeah, get the surgery. Like, professional athletes don't want to do that. They don't want to lose a year. They don't want to lose a season. They might not be the same. Rehabbing is a lot harder than it gets made out to be because it's done behind the scenes, right? Like, you don't have to see what these guys go through when they go under the knife, and then they're immobilized for like 4 to 6, and then like the it's a reason it's such a big deal, and these guys are like, this is the first time I threw a baseball again, and they document their Tommy John recovery journeys. Like, it is easier for us to say. At the same time, when I'm cheering for my team to win the World Series and win the American League East again, yeah, get the surgery. But
Yeah.
I do want to make it clear, like, these guys do have like their own best interests at heart.
Especially for a guy like Berríos too, who took a lot of pride in his consecutive start streak, that he had never missed a start over the course of his career. And when he did end to miss one, I think that hurt him a little bit, because it was part of his identity that he was always so durable and so reliable. So I think you're onto something, and that might have something to do with it as well. But I don't want it to be the point where it shoots himself or the team in the own foot.
Yeah, they better not. Okay, can we do something a little bit more positive now?
Yes, please. More Vlad talk or what?
Yeah, no. We got 15 more minutes on. No, Dalton Varsho. I think we could do 15 minutes on him based on what we've seen from him this spring. 10 extra base hits this spring for Dalton Varsho, and it's spring training. It's spring training. Okay, we all know it's spring training. Can we blow this out of proportion just a little bit?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, he's slugging almost 1,000. Slugging almost 1,000. That's not OPS. That is just slugging. He's only got one strikeout in spring training, and like, that's pretty sick. Like, is this a real thing? Like, is this Dalton Varsho now?
Yeah, and if you really look at it, Dalton Varsho broke out last year. No one's talking about this. But if you take his 162 game pace, Dalton Varsho was a 45 home run hitter last year. Like, it is in there. It is in the bag. He hit 2 monster home runs in the Yankees and the ALDS too. He's continued it over the spring. He's hitting lefties. Like, the changes Dalton Varsho made to his swing and his approach are very real, and I am buying this so much. I think the average might go down because I'm not certain about how well he can handle those pitches up in the zone, but anything below the belt, he is going to crush, and he is going to crush hard. I really do think you're looking at Dalton Varsho probably right up there with George Springer as our second best hitter on the team.
You think so? Well, he's got to be.
I do. I really do.
Yeah. That's the nature of, like, you subtract Bo Bichette from this lineup, you are kind of looking around for who's the second best hitter. And last year, George Springer was that guy for pretty much the whole season. He was kind of actually the best hitter if you look at most of the numbers.
True. Yes.
Right? Like, it was Vlad who was the second best hitter. But aside from that point, like, Dalton Varsho, he does have some shoes to fill. He's going to have to play a bigger role this season than he did last year. He's going to have to stay healthy a full season.
Yes.
But if he does, I think we're in for a monster Dalton Varsho season. And the one strikeout thing encourages me. And I do want to put the caveat, like, yeah, their pitchers are not game planning for hitters in spring. Big league pitchers, when they do their pregame meetings before a start against the Blue Jays, they're going to go over Dalton Varsho's name, and they're going to say, yeah, soft, down, hard, high, right? And that's the game plan. If we maybe see him get to that stuff at the top of the zone again and be able to lay off the stuff at the bottom of the zone, I swear to God, like, Dalton Varsho's ceiling is as high as any players in baseball.
Yeah, and just if I can throw out some more spring training numbers at you, again, normal caveat, spring training, but the plate discipline stuff looks phenomenal. He's running an 88% contact rate right now. Like, Owen, his career high coming into this was 78%. So when he swings, he's literally just making more contact now. His swinging strike rate, 15% last season, is down to 6% this spring. Oh, and he's faced Tarek Skubal twice this spring.
He homered off Skubal.
Just putting it out there. And he homered off Skubal. Like, that's insane to me. So under the hood, the metrics look phenomenal from Dalton Varsho as well. Like, you take your pick of basically whatever stat you want to see here. Dalton Varsho is putting it together. And don't be surprised if he is, like I stated earlier, your second best hitter on this team, especially from the power numbers.
He looks like a guy who wants to get paid.
Yes. Yes, he does. And I think part of that is why he hasn't got the extension yet, because I think he knows he's got this breakout coming.
Okay, so if me and you are going to do this hypothetically, what's the number you're willing to go to if you're the Blue Jays?
Oh, God. Well, See, I want to go like 7, because he'll be entering his age 30 season, his first year of free agency. So I'd want to go probably 5-6 years. It'll depend on what he does with the bat. But if he does what I think he's going to do, compared with a good defense, you might be looking at a $25 million, $30 million a year player. Do that for 5-6 years, 150, 180 million with a chance. Maybe he touches 200. We'll see. But I think it's going to be that big. If he puts up the offensive season, I think he can. He has to prove he's healthy. but I think that in the higher outcomes of ranges, he can touch that.
Okay, so that's the important caveat is like it's got to be after a monster season this year, like the type of season me and you are talking about. But if I'm him and I'm talking extension right now, like I'm starting like I want the George Springer contract. I want 6 years, 150 million.
Yes.
Right?
I would do that in a heartbeat. I think if
you're
Varsho would agree to that right now, I think so.
Holy. Could you imagine?
Just oh my God. Center field defense, man, is so hard to find, and Dalton Varsho is one of the best ever at doing it. And it's like, if your alternative for elite center field defense is Miles Straw, I'm sorry, Miles Straw, but I'd rather have that in Varsho. You know, center field defense is one of the skills that's the hardest to train, and you already have it. And if it's just going to cost you money, even if the bat does fall apart, I think you still do it. Combine that good base runner too. Like, yeah, I very much talked myself into Dalton Varsho.
I'm like the Dalton Varsho guy. I've been the Dalton Varsho guy since the start. Like I've got a Dalton Varsho jersey in my room. Like, like you don't have to convince me to be him. Are you worried about how like the peripheral stuff? And I know defense and base running is not peripheral, but take my word for it there. Are you worried about how that ages?
Not so much with that. I'd be more worried that like the bat goes south. But Dalton Varsho has been such a good athlete his whole career. Like I think he's different. Like, remember, he started his career as a catcher, right? So learning to go from behind the plate, then decides to become an outfielder, and then decides to become the literal best center fielder in all of baseball. Like, that's just different, man. People don't do that. And people who are different, I find, age a little bit better, or their decline is a little bit slower. The bat is going to be the one thing I think that might fall off quicker. Maybe it's just he's got this swing change. He learns it for power, pitchers adjust, and then he can't come back to it. Sure. But, like, I'm really not as worried as you might think of some of the other players. Like Bo Bichette, for example, I was worried about giving him a long-term thing because he had nothing else to fall back on if the bat went away. If Dalton Varsho still does.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Dalton Varsho, he does so many things well. And I think if he puts the bat together, and we've seen him like be just a massively productive player without hitting. And I think like the final piece of the puzzle, and I get it's not fair to just be like, if he's a crazy good hitter, he's super valuable. Like obviously, no duh. But just like the amount of things he does well, like the floor is so high. And yeah, I think Dalton Varsho, everything I've seen from him is super exciting. I love watching him.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, no one really outside of Toronto notices this. Right? We see it because we're glued in. A lot of people listening to this, they see it because they're glued into the Toronto Blue Jays. But a lot of people outside in baseball don't know how good Dalton Varsho is. And I think they're really going to get a look this season.
Yeah, man. Did you hear my phone there?
I did not. So it was Ross Atkins calling you?
Well, I had my Buck Martinez moment. My phone went off twice. I was like, oh, no. Like... but I'm glad you couldn't hear it. So makes me feel a lot better. Okay.
There you go.
Do you have any more J stuff, or do you want to do some WBC here?
A few small things. We mentioned a little bit about the pitching staff, and we don't need to spend too much time on it here, but I did want to mention, last week you said, are you concerned about Trey Savage yet? I said, no, give it a week. Let's see if he gets on a mound in a week. Well, a week has gone by. He has yet to get on a mound in game. Apparently his side session, he got crushed. Like he faced 7 batters. I think he got 2 of them out. He gave up 2 home runs, a couple of walks in there. So don't love seeing that from Trey Savage. I'm not taking anything from it yet, but noted. I have that in the notebook. And 2, Max Scherzer has looked incredible this spring. We've talked about him a lot last episode as well, so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But the velocity's up, the swagger is still there, the confidence is there. I just want to remind you that he was really good last spring as well. And then the first game, he gave up 2 quick home runs to Baltimore before hurting his thumb. So just want to mention those 2 things that caught my eye, at least on the pitching staff. Do you have thoughts on either of those?
Not really. Like Trey Savage, we're gonna get into it later. I've got a pretty spicy take on him, so nice. Maybe I'll save that towards the end of this episode. The Max Scherzer stuff, I think he's awesome. Max Scherzer is probably one of my favorite players from like the recent times. Like if I had to pick a guy from Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, or Justin Verlander, like the big 3 of this generation, like it's Max Scherzer without a doubt. And the fact that he's still doing it like this, and he's up to 90, like above 96 at 41 years old. He's turning 42, man. Like anything I get from him is awesome. I hope he makes the entire $13 million of that contract, because if he does, it means he's been really, really good for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have needed him, and he's delivered. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a lot of belief in what he's been up to.
Nope, that's good. The only other thing I wanted to mention is Eloy Jimenez has kind of cooled off a little bit. His spring tracks still look insane because of the hot start he's gotten off to, but it seems really likely that he's probably not going to be on the opening day roster, as well as guys like Leo Jimenez. It seems like that whole infield picture is pretty much set, barring an injury in the last 5 days of camp here. So I just wanted to mention that as well. But that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. Okay, WBC. What has been your favorite part of the tournament so far, just generally speaking?
I love international sports, like when teams can go out, and it doesn't matter the sport, when teams can go out and represent their country. I think it is so fun. Everyone's got this the shared unity, if you will. People are all playing together and they get so excited and so amped up. I've loved the atmospheres at some of these games, especially in Central America. Like even when Team Canada was playing down in Puerto Rico, those games were very insane. Venezuela, Italy have been having some wild times. I love shooting espresso shots in the dugout. Like that seems so fun. You know, I really just love the energy we're getting and how much the players are really into these games. Because as a fan, you can really feel that. You can feel the energy and it gets you hooked into it a little bit more. And that's what I really like the most. And besides, the games have been close. They've been competitive, all that as well, which I really enjoy. How about you?
Yeah, well, I think that's the biggest thing is that the games have been so good. Like there hasn't really like since the knockout round started, there hasn't really been a stinker. Like I've been watching every game through the ninth inning, like and super engaged. And it sucked to see USA beat the Dominican Republic. Like, and it sucked to see the USA beat Canada. Like I was in a bar for that one, and like the bar got up for it. Like nobody really was paying attention at the start of the game, but by the end of it, like people were cheering and like. Shout out to Matt Tugboat Wilkinson who
Yes.
shoved for 2 innings and like had the bar on his feet, like cheering for him. Nobody knew who he was at the start of that appearance, and everybody knew who he was after. Like it's how sports are meant to be played and watched. Like getting to see guys represent their country, you can see how much more it means to them than playing for their big league teams. And maybe that's a little bit sad for us as like diehard fans of professional sports teams, you know what I mean? But getting to see like the way Junior Caminero reacts, like he would never react like that for the Tampa Bay Rays. And like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we got to see that flair in the postseason run, but you get such a big dose of it in the WBC. And I think it's because like these guys are like volunteering to be here. They don't have to show up and represent their country, but they choose to. And it's not a job for them. And I think at times you can see professional athletes, it does turn into a job for them. And fans get on them because you're playing a child's game for a whole bunch of money. Like, how can you not treat it like a child's? Well, how can you how do you like? I don't know if I'm fumbling this point on the 1 yard line, but it's just so much fun to see these guys and how much fun they're having.
Yeah, these guys are playing now not for their paycheck. They're playing for the love of the game.
Exactly.
And they want to do it for each other and whatnot. And you can really tell from watching that as a fan. So that is phenomenal. I've always loved this tournament. Like I've been into it since I remember the 2006 tournament when Team Canada actually upset the United States. They won 8-6. I think Stubby Clapp had an inside the park home run, who's now our third base coach, like was on the team. Pete Orr, Jesse Crane, who was a middle reliever for the White Sox. Like I remember those guys all coming in. And that was my childhood, that 2006 season coming up. I'll remember those guys. There are kids, Canadian kids, who are going to take the Blue Jays World Series run that they just went on, watching this team make it to the quarterfinals in the World Baseball Classic, and are going to want to be like them. I think we're going to see like baseball numbers rise across the country of more people, more athletes choosing to play baseball because of the World Baseball Classic, because of the run the Blue Jays went on in the playoffs there. And I think ultimately that is not only best for the Blue Jays, it's best for baseball as a whole. And if the World Baseball Classic is part of doing that, then it is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. And baseball has so much momentum right now. And I don't even want to mention it because it feels like sacrilege, but like, I cannot believe they're going to just stomp on all this momentum with a lockout next season. I'm so disappointed.
Yes. It's like no one hates baseball more than the people who run baseball, right?
Yeah.
But we will get into that as the next season comes.
Yeah, we've got a full season ahead of us. We're super excited for it. Yeah. I think it's not the time for lockout talk, but man, like everybody in my circle is talking about baseball right now. And maybe it's because like they know that if they want to get me going, they can talk about baseball. But like people who have not talked about baseball with me before want to know what I think about the Blue Jays, and they want to know what I think about the WBC. And I think that's so cool. Like people who just have not cared about baseball before. And I don't know if this is a Canada thing or a Toronto thing, or if it's a United States thing and a North America thing. But I love seeing people disengaged in the sport. It's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
And casuals, people who,
Yeah.
don't talk baseball all the time, right, are coming up to you knowing you're the baseball guy, and they'll say things, be like, oh, so I heard this Vladimir Guerrero Jr. guy's playing pretty good. And then I want to get into like his swing decisions and how he looks against exit velocities or certain pitch types, etc. But they're just like, yeah, you hit the ball really far. The fans went wild. That was really cool. I like that. And I find I'm getting a lot more of that, even with just friends, family, coworkers, no matter what it might be. And that is a great thing.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, and it's bringing people together. It's what sports are for. It's
absolutely.
so good. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I think we could talk about WBC all night, to be honest. Like, we are recording this right now as Venezuela is playing Team USA. Still 0-0, right?
Yes, Venezuela's got 2 on with 1 out, and Miguel Garcia is up. That's right.
Oh my God, could you imagine Venezuela pulls this off, man? The pitching might be a little bit thin. I was a little bit worried because their manager Omar Lopez said like they got calls from professional organizations. I don't know if that's big league teams, but like asking them not to use their pitchers tonight, like because it's a back-to-back. So if that's the case, like that'll be super disappointing. And like Mark DeRosa like made that comment where he's like he wanted to see it in season, like as a part of like the All-Star break or something like that. I don't necessarily know how that works. Like a condensed schedule, less like regular season games in MLB. I don't know. Like the logistics on that are weird. There's never really just like a perfect time for this tournament, is there?
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. Like no matter when you did it, there's not a good time to do this, right? You could try doing like the round robin in March and then doing the playoffs after the All-Star break. Like maybe that is thrown around, but then you're going to have different players competing in the round robin versus competing in the playoffs. And, you lose momentum. Like, don't you kind of want it all in there? And you're right with maybe shortening the regular season could help. But like, do you really want like teams taking like an Olympic break or an international break like they do in soccer and they do in hockey? I don't think you want that because then your pitchers have to shut down and ramp back up again. And that's not something you want. I don't think there was a really good time to do this. So I think doing what we're doing is going to have to do.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's done really well. This has been awesome. I think this is the most viewed WBC of all time so far. It's been awesome, and man, if Venezuela pulls this off, that's a team I can get behind. I like that team a lot, and they just took the lead actually 1-0.
I was just gonna say that took a 1-0 lead on a looks like a sac fly. So
there
fantastic,
unreal. Okay, we're gonna wrap this episode up. I've got a little game that I prepared for us. I took I filled Jesse's shoes this week, and
thank you.
I played the game maker role. I've even titled it. It's called Smoke or Fire. Okay, so
love it.
I've got like a stat, a number, a take, and I want to know if there's just smoke there or if there's some actual fire. Okay, so smoke, it's nothing, it's not real. Fire, we got to do something about it. We got to talk about it for real. Okay,
got you. I'm on board. Let's go.
Alrighty. So Louis Varland's last outing against the Detroit Tigers, his fastball had an IVB, an induced vertical break of 18 inches. Is that smoke or fire?
Well, seems good, but I'm going to need some context, Owen. Do you know what it was last year or his previous starts?
Yeah, I believe it averaged 16 last season. So that's a pretty big difference. Like 15, 16 is like, that's when you're like, okay, good. 18, 19, 20 is when you are like nasty. That's a nasty fastball.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's a little bit of smoke, but you can tell there's sparks coming. Like there's a little bit in the fire. It hasn't fully caught yet, but it's kind of started a little bit because the thing with Louis Varland, or at least my gripe on Louis Varland has been, he's just been a little bit too hittable. He's had that bit of a home run issue since he's joined the Toronto Blue Jays. But if you can get a little bit more IBV on that fastball to cause hitters to give it that illusion effect and they get just under it, then he's not giving up as many home runs. Then he's going to be a much more effective relief pitcher. So I can see the recipe for progress here from Louis Varland, and I'm going to take this IBV as the first sign of smoke in that very little lit fire there for Louis Varland.
Okay, I think you're a coward for not putting the house money all on one outing of Louis Varland in spring training, but it's fine. I think 18 IVB is so sick, and if that's actually what he could be, like if that could be his average, I'm telling you, he'd be one of the best relievers in baseball. He throws 4 pitches, and he throws so many strikes. Oh man, he'd be unhittable with that.
And the Blue Jays still love him. Like, even when he had like a 4.5 ERA, the Blue Jays have talked him up considerably. So they know more about this guy than we do. And if they're talking him up, you better listen.
Okay. You alluded to this one earlier. I think I know what you're going to say, and I think it's another coward take from you. But Davis Schneider has 3 hits this spring, and Eloy Jimenez has an 891 OPS. Is there some smoke and fire there?
I think the smoke has died down. I think the fire was lit. The fire was going pretty good. People were coming over to watch the fire. Like, your neighbors were checking in and seeing what's going on. But the firefighters came. They put out the fire. The crowd is dispersing. I think the fire is pretty much gone here now. I will say it would be a great story if Eloy can go down to Buffalo and can continue to mash. I think there's a chance that he could come up later in the season. He could hit a home run for you off the bench, which I think would be very nice. But I'm starting to think the miracle spring for Eloy Jimenez is at least going to start in Buffalo and Davis Schneider safely on this team.
Okay. You don't care that Davis Schneider's been like awful?
I mentioned that last week. I noted it. But overall, this is the first time in like Davis's career, well, maybe second time, he hasn't really had to compete for a spot. He knows his role is on this team, right? All right, save your hits for the season. I'm trying to ignore spring training, honestly, Owen, whenever possible. It's hard because we're so locked in, and I'm just chalking it up to that. But if he does get off to a slow start and Davis Schneider has some streakiness in his profile, then maybe we start to make a change 3 weeks into the season. But for now, that's where I stand.
Okay. I don't mind that. I think you're probably right, but I really just want to see the optimist in me wants Eloy Jimenez. I think Eloy Jimenez, if you get the real version of Eloy Jimenez when he was like early on with the White Sox, like I think that like he has a legit chance to be like your second, third best hitter, right?
The chances are not zero.
Yeah, exactly.
It would help if Eloy was a better base runner or could play a better defensive position, but you're already carrying Jesus Sanchez on there, and Eloy is like similar build if things go right then with Jesus Sanchez, a guy who could run into some power, who could do things but doesn't really run the bases too well or play defense too well. They're kind of the same mold of player. So even though they hit from different sides of the plate.
Yeah, I think the lack of versatility is ultimately going to be the end of Eloy and in his time with the Blue Jays. Okay, next one. Andres Jimenez is not starting for Team Venezuela. So Ezequiel Tovar can start and play shortstop. Is there some smoke there, or just fire, or just smoke?
No, I mean, I'm not taking too much into this. Seems like Andres Jimenez is the first guy out of the dugout for pinch runners or for defense and stuff. Shout out to Ezequiel Tovar for reminding people the Colorado Rockies exist. That's very nice. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that at all. Like, Andres Jimenez, even if he hits 220 but plays excellent defense, he's still going to be a valuable role in this team. I think Venezuela's dumb for not putting an Andres Jimenez on there, but their job, not us. I'm not worried about it one bit.
Okay, yeah, I like that take. Another World Baseball Classic one for you, Kazuma Okamoto, just a 634 tournament OPS for Japan. Is there fire there or just some smoke?
I want to dive into this a little bit more. I didn't get to watch much of Kazuma Okamoto. Plays games at 5 a.m. That's like the middle of the night for all of us. So I didn't really get to see it and watch. I did see some of his hits. Some of his hits look good. And to me, I was mostly looking at the defense. He made a lot of good plays, especially coming in on the ball, which I really liked. I know he did have an error at one point in there, though. I don't really remember. It happened. It was in there. So I want to watch that more than I want to watch the bat. But, he looked good in Jay's camp before going over there. So I'm not too worried yet. We'll see how he hits the floor running here when the season starts.
Yeah, I had the chance to watch pretty much the full Japan versus Venezuela. I believe that was the quarterfinal game.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Right? I think. Yeah, because Venezuela played Italy in the semifinal. So Kazuma Okamoto, I believe he hit a double in that game. His at-bats looked all right. He did make a weird play. I don't know if they gave him an error because he didn't get a glove on the ball, but there was a play that he did not make that he should have made. I don't know. Not a great tournament for Okamoto. Obviously, I'm not going to press the panic button on a 4 or 5 game tournament from a guy, but something to keep an eye on because the Blue Jays need him to be very good.
Yes, and I wish I could find some of his advanced stats. Like, was he hitting the ball hard, or was the BABIP just low, or something like that? I can't find it right now, but that might paint more of a picture. But how were the swings and misses, right? Was he still making contact? So if I could get all that information, I could give you a more detailed answer. But my initial instinct is, no, not worried. I think he'll be okay.
Okay, thanks. Made me feel a lot better there.
There you go.
The dream is dead on Spencer Miles and on Hel Bastardo. Neither of them is making the team.
Okay, so I'm not ready to close the door on this. So the firemen have showed up. They're ready to take out the fire. They're in the progress of taking out the fire, but there's still a little bit left in there. They haven't put it out completely because I want to wait to see what happens with José Berríos and Trey Savage and stuff. If there is a chance one or both don't start the season on the Major League roster, then maybe that opens up a spot on the bullpen, which maybe then opens up the chance for one of Angel Bastardo or Spencer Miles to be on the team. I think it's hard. A lot of things have to kind of go that path. I think odds are they're both being returned or a trade will be worked out to keep one of them. But the chance is not zero. And mostly because Spencer Miles and Angel Bastardo throw gas, and the Blue Jays bullpen doesn't have a lot of gas right now. So I would love to have one of those weapons in the pen, but it's hard seeing how it would work as things are currently constructed.
Yeah, I believe the Jays actually have the lowest average fastball velocity out of any team in spring training. I saw, I think it was Mike Petriello on Twitter is where I saw that. And that actually like really concerns me. Obviously, there's a lot of Tyler Rogers in there. So like, okay, take that. But even if you look at the Jays starters, like they don't have a guy who sits in the high 90s. They have a couple guys who are hopefully in the mid 90s in Scherzer and Gausman. But like there's not a lot of velo coming from this Blue Jays team. Like Brendan Little being at 98, that helps you a lot too, right? So like it's okay, but I think the Blue Jays could really use some velo, and I would love it if one or both of those guys was good enough to stay on the team. You know what I mean?
Me too. I do think the Blue Jays are going to look for more velo, definitely at the trade deadline. Like if you can make a bet right now, I'd argue, there's a reliever, Anthony Dominguez type coming in at the trade deadline this year. Maybe they'll play the waiver wire game. Some team releases a guy who can throw really hard and they'll put him in the bullpen. A lot of the minor league free agent pitchers that the Blue Jays floated around this offseason were guys who could throw really hard. So the Blue Jays are consciously thinking about this at least. And I bet they will find a way to address the velocity in the bullpen, whether that's Jimmy Garcia or something else, but they'll find a way.
Well, like there will be a 2026 version of Sir Anthony Dominguez that comes on probably July 30th or July 31st, right? Like the bullpen's not set for the season.
And it might even be Sir Anthony Dominguez again, right? Yeah. Signed a small deal with the White Sox. If they flip him for a draft pick or something, like it could happen. So there will be somebody, and the Blue Jays have been known to add to their bullpen, and I bet they do it again this year.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, two more. This one will be quick. Brandon Valenzuela, 849 OPS in spring training. Is there some fire there?
I think this is red hot fire, dude. Like I think this is very much there. I'm in on Brandon Valenzuela. Got a couple of home runs too. He's looked pretty good behind the plate as well. I'm not ready to say this, but I think I'd rather have Valenzuela as our backup catcher than Tyler Heineman.
Crazy take.
Valenzuela has options. So start him in Buffalo, let him go full time and whatnot. We'll see if we can get more magic out of the Magic Man, I guess. But I think overall, if they got both an extended stretch of playing time, I'd take my chance with Brandon Valenzuela. It looks quite good. And as long as he can handle the pitchers, I'm in. Yeah, red hot, lots of fire.
Yeah, I think having a guy I actually believe in a little bit as not just a backup, but a third string catcher, who's going to be starting the season in Buffalo, that makes me feel so much more comfortable if, God forbid, knock on wood a million times, if Alejandro Kirk catches a ball funny and hurts his thumb and he misses a chunk of time, or concussions, it's catchers, man. Catchers get hurt a lot, and it makes me feel pretty good that there seems to be a very capable, not just catcher who looks good defensively, but a guy who there is some proof of concept that he can swing the bat just a little bit, and he's just waiting to get the call, and I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, no Ali Sanchez coming up this year or anything like that. I really do like our chances if something were to happen. Baseball's stupid. People get injured in weird ways. People step on sprinkler heads. People get mono, for goodness sake. You never know what it might be. And I like having Valenzuela. Sneaky good trade that we don't talk about enough, that the Blue Jays got him for Will Wagner. So,
yeah, shout out Will Wagner.
Yes.
Okay, last one. Max Scherzer is going to make more starts this season than Trey Savage. Smoke or fire?
Smoke, but I can see how you get here. I can see the path where it does happen. I am buying into the fact that the Blue Jays are just taking Trey Savage slowly. By the time we get to May, he'll be full go. Do the math on that. That's 25 to 28 starts for Savage. I don't quite think Scherzer gets to 25, 28 starts, but I think this might be closer than we think.
Yeah, and that's why it's there. I think Trey
Yeah.
Savage probably makes more starts, but to be honest, I'm frustrated. My Gen Z like iPad brain is like, why haven't I seen Trey Savage yet? Like I'm tired of
Mhm.
waiting. Like I just want to see him. I want to see him pitch. Where is he? Why is he? Why are they hiding him? Something's going on. And like to do the truth serum thing again, like if I bet you if you gave like the Blue Jays pitching coordinators and pitching coaches the truth serum, there's something going on with Trey Savage that we're not
I
being
think so
told.
too. I think
And
so
I,
too.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's injury. I don't know if that's service time manipulation. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be something going on. It's March 17th. We haven't seen him in a big league spring game, and all they've said is that he's a big leaguer.
Yep. And he, like I said earlier in the episode, he got crushed against minor leaguers when he did get in there. He got hit quite hard. And what was one of the takes we made from Trey Savage is that, yeah, he throws right over the top, but throwing that hard over the top can lead to a lot of stress on your elbow, on your shoulder. Maybe that is sneaking in there, and we haven't really seen that yet. So I hate to say that because we kind of really need Trey Savage, but I think he might be right. There's something happening there that we're not seeing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Do you have something more positive to end this episode on for me?
Yeah, we're 5 more spring training games. We're less than 10 days away from opening day. Blue Jays have a nice soft schedule to begin the year. We kind of would prefer that soft schedule to be like when you get into the dog days. It's kind of tough getting that right in the beginning. But playing well will be important. Getting off to a good start will be important. Blue Jays haven't always got off to the best starts in their last couple of years, so it'd be very key to get that. And it'll just be so good to get Blue Jays baseball back. Oh, and we're almost there. Like, it's so exciting. It's starting to feel like Christmas. We're so close.
So close. So close. All right. For Owen Hill, Jesse Burrell, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the Jay Center podcast. Make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars, do whatever you got to do to help us out. We've been putting a lot of work into these episodes and having a lot of fun with it. So, like, help us out. Let us know what you want to see. Regular season's coming up. Jesse and I are super excited. We're going to be ramping up the content. We've got a bunch of ideas coming. So, we're super excited. How many times can I say that we are excited about this 2026 Blue Jays season? We'll talk to you guys soon.
Cheers, boys. Go Blue Jays.